On Wednesday at 7, Trish goes live. Stop by and unwind and decide. Sip a little wine as we relax and unwind. I'm sure you'll have a good time. So get with this. Unwind and decide with Homebody Trish.
Mommy. Mom.
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 Mom. Wake up.
Mom, wake up.
Wake up.
Mom.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another vlog. I'm Trish, and on this channel we talk about all things home, all things life, and just all the different things to make your house feel like a home. Today's vlog is a little bit different just because I wanted to share with y'all one of the decisions I made recently in my life, as y'all can probably tell by the title. But I decided to leave my nursing job to become a stay-at-home mom. Whew, baby. It was a hard decision for me, definitely. As y'all know, for many reasons. But you know what? Actually, before we get into why I left my job, I am going to we're gonna switch it up because I need to do my hair. I can sit here and talk to y'all all day long, but I actually need to be doing my hair. So I'm gonna pull y'all out when I get to the bathroom, and then we'll chit chat about why I left nursing. Hope y'all can see me. I done pulled this light in here. It's a little dark. This bathroom is my dark, moody bathroom, so it's a little dark. But all right, forgot where we left off, but I know I wanted to talk to y'all about why I decided to leave nursing. So first of all, I got into nursing probably about 10 to, what year is this? 2026? No. So I started off as a LPN, and then now I'm a RN. So I've been in nursing for about 12 to 13 years, right? It feels longer. They say time flies when you're having fun, but it feels longer. So I've been a LPN since 2014, and then I went back to school and became a RN in 2016. Now that we got that out the way. I originally went into nursing because I wanted to be a labor and delivery nurse. That was my dream job, to be a midwife and just coach people, educate people on their well-being and while carrying, and just to encourage people to have natural deliveries and stuff like that. Because as y'all know, we as black women have the highest mortality rate when it comes to just birth in general. So that's a whole nother story. But that's why I originally wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to work in labor and delivery. Okay. And even prior to becoming a nurse, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a OBGYN. And then as I was going through school, I kind of changed my mind, and I was like, oh, I think I definitely want to do nursing because of the flexibility that nursing offers, right? So I have always wanted my lifestyle to be flexible. I have always wanted to enjoy the job that I was doing. I never got into a job. I never wanted to do a job for money because I know I'm not, excuse my appearance. I know I'm not driven by money per se. Of course we need money to live. So it's I always wanted to make a nice amount, but going to work every day for money, I knew wasn't going to satisfy me. So, I don't know if I want to make it straight or curl the ends. Let's go with a little curl. A little curl won't hurt nobody. All right, so when I first started in nursing, absolutely loved it. I worked in the nursing home, and a lot of people said like, oh, you know, like, don't work in a nursing home. And it's, I don't know, there's a lot of different narratives about working in a nursing home. I particularly liked it, loved it. I learned a lot while I was there. And I worked about 2 or 3 different nursing homes. So I learned a lot while I was there. And I, of course, loved the schedule. I was PRN for a while. So I was able to make my own schedule. If I needed off, I was able to have off. I didn't have to like, you know, take off because I wanted to go on vacation. I would just plan my schedule that way. So some weeks I would work like all week and then I would have a week or 2 off. Or I would, some weeks I would just work Monday through Friday, or, you know, just the weekends, whatever fit for my life at that time, I was able to do it. So I love that. And then meeting like different people, you always get new people, you know, the turnover is kind of high, not as high as in the hospital. And I worked there also, but the turnover is not as high as the hospital, but different people come through the nursing home all the time. So you get different stories and you learn a lot of wisdom comes, you know, to me, you gain a lot of wisdom working in the nursing home and talking to like elderly, geriatric population. So I really enjoyed that. I got out of working in the nursing home. When did I stop working? Oh, after I became a RN, because like I said, my goal was to become a midwife. So it's like, all right, although I was comfortable there and I love the schedule, I kind of forced myself to leave so that I can get some different type of experience. So I did nursing home, I did psych, I've done hospital, like PCU, med surge, a little bit of ER, but me personally, I'm not a lover of the fast pace, so the ER was a bit much for me. So I didn't really enjoy ER, but you do see a lot there, so that was cool. But yeah, so at that point in my life, I was loving nursing, and not even saying that point in my life, I still like nursing. I still enjoy nursing, right? But yeah, like I said, so I still love nursing. But the thing that really started changing for me was, I don't know, I think just getting older. When I started, I was in my 20s. I'm in my 30s now. I'm almost 40. So just those long hours, like I used to love overnight shift. Like, oh my God, didn't have a problem with it at all. I would work 10 to 6, 11 to 7. Sometimes even after overnight, I would work 11 to 7 and then 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And people was like, oh my gosh, how are you doing the backwards double? Because typically people don't work overnight and then stay up throughout the whole day. But I guess I was young, I was vibrant, I was able to do it. Oh my gosh, I could not imagine doing it now. And I just started feeling the toll on my body that it was taking, you know, and not even just physically. Like I started dreading going to work. So I was like working overnight in the hospital at this point, and I just started dreading it. Like, and hold on, let me get this section done. All right, y'all, I didn't even realize I can look in the camera while I'm doing my hair as a mirror. But anyway, yeah, I started dreading going to work. So then I thought like maybe it was just like the unit that I was on. So that's when I kind of like would switch jobs and like get a different job or whatever. But it wasn't that. It was just the hours. It was just the time away. So I was missing. It's a few different things. So I would have my own goals that I want to accomplish, right, in life. So I felt like I had to work, and then you have to provide. You know, I have 5 children. So I felt like I couldn't just not work. Like, how do you have 5 children and not go to work every day? Like, in my mind, that didn't make sense. I felt like I was going to be, I don't want to say a loser, but I kind of felt like a loser. Like, if I didn't work, I felt like, how am I contributing to my household? And it just made me feel like, no, Like it just that mindset just always made me feel like that mindset always kept me working, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but I got to a point where I started having to choose if I was going to go to my kids' events or if I was going to go to work. Like, you know, sometimes your schedule doesn't allow for you to make every event. And I'm a mom who I want to make every event. Like, it's okay to miss some. I understand that. Like, my parents didn't make all of my events and I didn't feel any type of way at all. But me personally, and for what I wanted in life, I wanted to be at all my kids' events. Like, unless it's something, you know, I'm sick or just a reason outside of my control, I wanted to make myself available. Because it's fun for me. Like, you know, I want to see how they're doing. I want to see them. I want to see everything. That's it. That's it. And that's all. So I started to like, sometimes I would call out or say I'll be late just so I can like make their games. They would be playing basketball, softball, whatever the case was. I would go late sometimes just so I can make the games, which is fine, you know, work-life balance, right? So that was fine. I just didn't like having to make that decision sometimes. It just made work feel like an inconvenience all the time. So yeah, that was one thing that was just like bothering me. But then I think one of the biggest things that happened in my life, oh my gosh, hold on. I'm sitting here talking to y'all and my son walked up on the side of the house. Like I'm facing the window right now. So long story short, he scared me. He walked up on the side of the house. But anyway, one of the biggest, I think, life changes for me that really, all right, how about I say this? All right, this is one of the things where some people already know this information and some people don't. Like if you're new here, you may not know, but I currently have 5 children. I have physically given birth to 6 children. One of my kids passed away while I was at work. So I have always had like this, I don't like being at work, that type of thing. I don't like being at work if I have to choose whether I'm at work or with my family. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind going to work, but if it ever comes down to like, oh, something's going on with your family and you need to be at work, I hate having to make that decision, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like y'all probably can understand that, like the trauma behind that, right? But so when I was going back and forth with myself as to whether I was going to leave my job or not, this has been going on for years, honestly. Like I have wanted to leave nursing for years, but I've always talked myself into staying. Like I would say, these are some of the things that I would say, like I didn't even tell y'all, at this point in my time, like the last probably 5 to 7 years, I've worked from home. So I always say like, why would you leave your job? You have a, you know, like a cushy job. You're able to be home with your kids while you're working. So why would you leave that type of position, right? Like, oh, you make good money here. Why won't you just stay home with your kids, make good money, and go on with your life, right? That's how I thought about it all the time, and that's what kept me at work for so long, right? My last child is 1.5. When I was pregnant with her, I was not supposed to return to work, but those are the thoughts that came in my mind, like, you're able to work with her. Why don't you just go to work? You know what I mean? So I ended up going back to work and I was like, all right, I'll stay for about 3 to 6 months and then I'll save up some money and then I'll just leave, right? That was the thought. Those were my thoughts all along, right? Let me keep doing my hair because I'm just sitting here talking to y'all. 1 second. But even with all that being said, I still didn't leave because that other person on my shoulder, you know, like the good guy and the bad guy, the bad guy on my shoulder kept saying, like, you've been doing it this long. Why don't you just keep doing it? You know, you're able to do it. Why would you give up your income and then not be able to? And that was another thing. I didn't want to put more on my husband. So I felt like I needed to contribute to the house, you know, to make things flow a little bit more easy, to make things flow easily. So I kept working year after year after year, and then just growing more and more tired and frustrated with my situation. Yeah, and then I don't know, I just kept working. And then one of the things I just kept having talks with myself, like, you're gonna keep working. When you're working, you have more money and less time, right? And then if you stop working, you'll have less money but more time. And then I was talking to myself and just like, but at the end of the day, y'all remember what I said, right? I'm not driven by money. Like, money is good. To me, money is just so I can eat, so I can live. That I don't really care. Like, I don't care to have millions on top of millions on top of millions. Like, that's not what's going to make me feel whole in life. I want to be available for my children. I want my children, my family, my husband to be happy, healthy, and thriving, right? Those are my priorities. So I just kept feeling like, but your priorities are not aligning with what you're doing. And it just kept presenting in different ways. So one time I was at work, right? And talking to different patients and stuff like that. And I talked to this one lady, and we got on topic, whatever. She was a stay-at-home mom for years, for years and years and years. And I asked her, I said, so now, that your kids are older or whatever, do you regret it? Because she was saying, whatever topic we were talking about, she didn't have a career because she was a stay-at-home mom or whatever. And I was like, so do you regret your decision to be a stay-at-home mom versus like have a career? And like, without even a second thought, she said, absolutely not. Like, she didn't doubt it for a second. And it's just like, I'll just put myself in that situation. Like, if I didn't have a career, right, and I was a stay-at-home mom, would I regret it? Like, would I feel like, oh my gosh, I wish I was a midwife instead of being a mom? Like, I never felt like, I don't feel like that. Like, to this day, I don't feel like that. So it's just like, why are you powering through to work a job and then dreading having to be a mom after you get off work? Like, you're giving your 9 to 5 all of your good hours, and then you're giving your family and yourself your 5 to 9, and like, you're powering through. You're not lively. Like, it just, everything was a task. Everything felt like a chore after work. You get what I'm saying? And I just got fed up with it. I just got fed up. But a reason it was really hard for me to leave, because I left recently, right? And y'all know the climate of the world. People are losing their jobs. People can't find jobs. And it's just like, I felt like I was being ungrateful for my situation. Like, you have a job. You have a work from home job. It's just like, I felt like, why would you leave a job when I knew a handful of people who were actually losing their job and, like, sad because they didn't have a job. And I'm like about to hand in my resignation. And it just made me feel like, are you making the right decision? So I felt like I wasn't making the right decision in that time. So yeah, I just always felt like while I was working, although I was able to work at home with my kid, I still felt like work was always a priority. And I didn't like that. I remember a time when I had an impromptu meeting. And because typically, like, if I knew I had a meeting, me and my husband would work out our schedules and that he would be available, or at least sometimes we would try to make it that way. He would be available so that, he's here with the baby and stuff. But it was one time I had like an impromptu meeting, and I remember like running my daughter upstairs to her crib. She was awake and she was crying because I just like dropped her off in her crib. I knew she was safe, so it was okay. She just didn't want to be alone, right? But that's what I mean when at the end of the day, work was still a priority. Although I was home with my kid, I wasn't able to like just have her in the video meetings, like bouncing on my lap. You know what I mean? Like, that it wasn't that type of work from home situation. So I didn't like that. Like, I didn't like that. When I think about when I think about what's important to me, like, I actually made a list, like what was important to me. Obviously, my family, like my children, my family. I made this whole list of what was important to me, right? And then I made a list of like what I was prioritizing. So the two didn't align. Like, my family is most important to me, but I was putting work before them every single time. And then sometimes my kids would come home from school, want to tell me about their day. I'm interested in their day, but I'm still at work. So they would kind of sometimes have to wait. Or when I get off of work, it was like I work at home and I have an office, right? So I would get off of work and then open my door and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm clocking into another job. It just felt, excuse me, the smoke hold on. It just felt daunting. Although I was working from home, it felt daunting to have to work from home and then to walk out of the office doors and walk into another job, being a mom, right? Cooking, taking the kids to practice, just interacting. I didn't have any downtime. And I think that's one of the things we as people who work from home take for granted while we're in the office. I used to be upset because I was in the office and then I would be in traffic afterwards for 30 minutes or so, right? When I was working from home, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I just had 30 minutes to decompress, that would be great. So I started looking like, do I want to go in the office? Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But the fact that I was getting irritated with having to be a mom, but being a mom was my priority, it's just like my life wasn't aligning, and I just started to feel irritated and bothered on a day-to-day basis with having to go to work. Like I was waking up and dreading walking downstairs to my office and clocking in. So I completely forgot to tell y'all. So I'm 38 right now, right? And when I was younger, I used to tell myself like, I want to be able to retire by 40. I want to be in a situation. I want to make certain investments. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I made this up when I was in college. Like I wanted to retire at 40. I felt like working from when I got out of college to 40 was enough. So like in my head, I've always wanted to retire by 40. And I just felt like right now, I was like, you're not in a situation to retire. How are you going to just leave your job? And I was like, I would rather, this is how I was talking myself through it. I was like, I would rather work more later. Let's say I would rather work until I'm 67 instead of 65, right? And gain 2 years now, like gain some time now. Because when I made that decision in the past, I didn't like foresee me as a mom. I didn't see me having children when I made that decision. So like things change. I rather, like my kids are all young now. My oldest is 14 and my youngest is 1. So like they're all in this very, very impressionable phase of their life. And I just want to be available now. You get what I'm saying? And maybe work later, but I want to be available now. So that was one of the reasons I took the leap. I put in my resignation. I cried when I tear dropped when I hit the send button, but I tear dropped, but I felt so good. When I wrote that resignation letter, my hands were trembling. When I hit send, a tear dropped, but I felt so relieved and so good. So I knew at that point that I was making the right decision. And I just like right now, I didn't leave forever. Nursing will be there. Nursing will be there whenever I'm ready to return, right? And that was one of the things that stopped me. Like, well, what if I can't find a work from home job? Or what if I can't do this? Or what if when I go back, I'm not able to find a labor and delivery job? Because like I'm still particular in where I want to work. I don't want to just have to find a job, you know? But I know that I made the right decision. But yeah, long story short, I said all that y'all were listening to. I said all that to say, I left my 6-figure nursing job to become a stay-at-home mom because my kids and my family is worth more than 6 figures. Like pretty much that's what it is. And I know that I just want time now. Like I just know time, you can't get it back. Like one thing for sure, time, you cannot get it back. And I learned that just, through life, if I can make any changes in my life, if I can have one wish, it would be time. And then that's one thing that you're not getting back. So I made the executive decision to say bye-bye to my nursing job and welcome in being a mom. I just want the opportunity because I'm just tired of always having to multitask. I'm multitasking with work. I'm multitasking with, like, even right now, I'm trying to record with y'all and I'm multitasking doing my hair, but I was tired of having to always multitask with work and my family. So I just want time to just focus on my kids. I want to be able to go to the park with my 1-year-old and not be drained when I'm at the park. You know, I want to be able to take her to the museum during the day when it's not overly crowded because everybody's trying to go on the weekends when they're off. I want to just be able to like provide home cooked meals for my family on a daily basis and not be so tired that I just go and buy food, which is one, not financially, it's not the most financially savvy thing to do. And then two, you don't know who's touching your food. It's not the healthiest. So I just want to be a mom. All right, y'all. But yeah, and one of the things that I was just thinking about as I was finishing my hair, one of the things that helped me make my decision is that I was just thinking, like, if I don't take this opportunity right now to just be a mom, I'll never get the opportunity again. And I can always go back to nursing. So I don't plan on having any more children, any more kids. So I'm like, my daughter is 1 now, right? If I wait another year or 2 or 3, I'm going to miss this whole phase, right? And I'm just going to regret. I'm going to have that regret in my own heart that I chose work over my kids when I can just take a leap of faith and do what I want to do right now. You know, my husband has been encouraging me to stop working so that I can just be a mom because he knows that this is what I have wanted to do probably since my first kid. Like I stayed home with my first child for the first 6 months or so. And then I just felt like I got to get myself together. So then that's when I went back to nursing. That's when I went into nursing. And then from there, every time I had a kid, I'm like, I'm not going to go to work afterwards. And I end up going back to work. So I think that this was my time to just take and embrace what I've always wanted, just to embrace my heart's desire to just be a better mom, be a better wife, be a better person in general. I am now thinking like I'm able to breathe. There's other things that I want to do in life outside of nursing. Y'all know I love home decor. So I have like a little bit more time now to just invest in like design and just other like real estate ventures and just whatever it is that me, my husband, my kids, our heart's desire. I feel as though I'm available now, mentally and physically. I'm available to just like subdue to whatever it is that my family wants to do. And I love that. Like every time I used to think about any other dreams or aspirations that I had for myself, I kind of have to like work it around my job. Like, all right, I'll just squeeze it in. Once I get off work, once I get the kids, once I do this, after I get out the shower and get everybody ready for bed, I can go do some research or I can go edit or I can do whatever it is. But by that time, I'm depleted from the day. So I'm just so grateful that I am able to be a mom. You get what I'm saying? Like there's so many people in general, moms, dads, grandmoms, grandfathers, like every uncles, aunts that I know that are just not able. And my hardest decision was to just walk away. Like, of course, there was some planning behind the scenes about like how we're going to be able to afford our day-to-day and our lifestyle and stuff. But to even be in a position to be able to just take a break, to take a breather, I'm just so blessed in that way. And I'm just so happy for myself, for my family, my husband. He's able to get home. He doesn't like when we order out. So he's able to get home cooked meals. I'm asking him like, what is it that you would like to eat? What do you want for lunch? It's just a better environment. Yeah. And I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy about it. So I have no regrets thus far about leaving my nursing job to just be a mom. Anyway, I had to go and cook dinner. I need to cook dinner and then I have to go out and meet up with my family. So I was going to bring y'all along with me for that, but I think I'm just going to end the video here. We'll maybe just do like a little chit chat. If I decide to continue it, then y'all see the next clip. But other than that, until next time, y'all, peace. I think I will in the future just give y'all like an update. So if y'all are into story times, chit chats, go ahead. I'll have a few on this channel and I will see y'all next time. Be blessed. And don't forget, subscribe. Peace, y'all.
Trish done shopping. Trish does vlogging. Trish does design. Stop by